And good afternoon, and welcome to Austin, Texas for stop number 2 on the NextGen Tour. Austin's Doublewide against the NextGen All-Americans. I'm Mario O'Brien. I'm here with Bjorn Shea. Beautiful day here, about 84 degrees. And the story of the game today here is going to be both teams trying to figure out an identity. NextGen, 1 game deep in their tour, and Doublewide, 1 practice deep on their whole season.
Right. Today, they just literally came straight from their first practice down the road, and it's going to be interesting to see how they work in some of the new players. A couple guys to look out for. Number 40, Mike Kramer, a transplant from Houston, who has a lot of athleticism. And number 0, Michael Mathis, a recent graduate of TCU, little-known TCU out of Fort Worth, Texas. A defensive generator, the real star of tryouts, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see how they work against great players.
And, of course, the story with Doublewide coming off their national championship. Some big gaps in the roster to fill this year. No Brody Smith, no Tim Garrett, no Cole Sullivan. And it's really going to be their task today to figure out, well, to begin to figure out what the identity of this team is going to be. Certainly with those big shoes to fill, someone is going to have to step up and fill that void. It'll be interesting to see who does that. For the NextGen team, a lot of returners. Of course, you know the names: Dylan Freechild, Jacob Janin, Camden Nelson Hall, Jimmy Mickle, all back this year. Freechild coming off a great game against Revolver, although the NextGen Tour, the bus did drop that game 15-13. It's going to be an interesting game today. This NextGen team has been a little bit more of a defensive-focused team this year, as opposed to the high-flying offense that we've seen in the past couple of years. Of course, when you've got guys like Alex Thorne, Tyler DiGirolamo on the team from last year, those guys aren't here this year. Those guys just brought a lot of firepower to the offense. And this year we've got, in my opinion, the stars are going to be guys like Trent Dillon, just a stopper against handlers, and Chris Kocher, one of the best downfield defenders for the bus. That's going to be the story of the game today, and we'll see how it unfolds. And, of course, our stream is brought to you by the wonderful people out of Portland, Oregon, Elemental Technologies, powering the stream today. That crystal clear picture is brought to you by Elemental. So, Bjorn, you've lived in Austin. What kind of effect are the temperatures, the conditions? What type of advantage do you think the Doublewide might have in a game like this against this team that's never played much together and they've never played in these conditions as much?
Well, generally, if it wasn't their first practice today, I'd say it's a great advantage. I mean, there's something about overheating that you just can't prepare for. But as I look out on the field, I see an all-new O-line and they're going to have just as much of a task as NextGen.
NextGen starting off on defense. Short pull, that was Jason Schaefer picking up the disc.
This is Jeff Loscorn.
And Kieran Thomas. Sorry, not Kieran Thomas. Doublewide coming out, vert stack. This is Schaefer.
Schaefer swings to Falcor, a young player out of Oklahoma.
Going deep. Mickle looking to challenge from the backside. And Doublewide reels in the first goal of the game for a 1-0 lead. Looks pretty windy out there. That one had a lot of float on it, but Mickle not able to pursue it from the backside. Doublewide comes out with a 1-0 lead.
Great catch by Jeff Loscorn, second-year captain.
And those are the types of names I think we're going to see more this year from Doublewide. With the absence of those, the big names, I think we're going to see guys like Loscorn, come into the spotlight a little bit more. I think if you're on a team like Doublewide, you know the importance of Loscorn, but he's not the guy who's going to show up maybe in the stats or in the big plays quite as much. But I think this year it's going to have to be guys like him that step up a little bit more. NextGen sets up in a vert stack. Disc center to Montague.
Andrew Walsh down first.
And Driscoll with the drop. First cut out of the stack.
Ryan Bigley picking up.
Nice lefty around break to K. Rich for the first break of the game. Doublewide takes an early 2-0 lead. NextGen has barely even completed a pass, and they're already down 2-0. It's not what you want to see, especially out of Driscoll. This is his home turf, not coming out hot, and that's K. Rich delivering. Nice lefty break there on the turn.
Driscoll, the only guy who didn't sleep with the rest of his bus mates. Maybe that had something to do with it.
You never know. This Austin community known for being awesome. I'm sure he had an awesome night.
And this is our first look at Dan Emmons and Mike Kramer, 2 new additions to the Doublewide D-line. 40, Mike Kramer, and number 7, Dan Emmons. 2 newbies to the Doublewide crew.
And you can see the wind pushing that one out the back of the end zone. NextGen looking to set up in a spread look to start. Double wide, showing man. Montague looking to tap the disc in. He's got Jannon downfield and Mickle isolated in the middle of the field. Nice poach there from the handler defense from double wide, preventing that break throw from Montague.
Eli Kern's in trouble with the disc.
It's free child up to Driscoll.
Big physical Mike Kramer not taking it easy in his first game with Doublewide.
Hahn going up the line, clears for Freechild, who picks it up on the second cut up the line.
That's Caleb Denicourt, number 2 on the mark, also a new player for Doublewide.
Hahn up to Montague. Jannon open, not able to find him. Hahn breaks to Driscoll. Driscoll gonna get lucky here and pick up an assist on an errant throw. It looks like it was not in. Freechild finds Montague, but Will Driscoll coming out shaky. Wind might have gotten a hold of that one, but that's 2 almost turnovers for Driscoll. Luckily, Freechild aware near the end zone, picks up the trash, dishes to Montague.
This is the O-fuck shot.
And the offense definitely does not look clean so far from NextGen. They came out in a horizontal spread. The timing wasn't there. The chemistry obviously not there yet. We didn't see consecutive cutter to continuation at any point. It's just the handlers sort of dumping, trying to swing and find someone downfield.
Well, I think that over time they will develop their chemistry. A windy, hot day like this is certainly not the ideal conditions to develop that. At least you can always count on Dylan Freechild to be the most aware person on the field, always picking stuff up.
There we see Driscoll and Jannon talking it over on the sideline. Get our second look here at NextGen D-line. That's Jay Clark with the big, lofty, floaty pull. Looking to center to Schaefer, not able to get it to him. Nice mark there.
Falcor with the disc, Kevin Christian.
Looks like a sloppy vert stack downfield. Double wide, just looking to get it out of their own end zone. A nice pressure D leads to a turnover. Dylan in the area, but I got to give the credit, first of all, to the puller for putting them deep, and second of all, to the marks for taking away the easy resets. challenging every pass. This is going to be Clark picking up the disc. Oh, had Erickson isolated and open, and Kotcher's going to break this one. Looks like it's coming back. Clark missed a wide open Erickson. Erickson wondering why he didn't get the disc, had his hands out. Vert stack, back of the end zone. Sends Kotcher up line. You can see the disc just popping up even on those little throws. You can really start to see how windy it is out there. Nice defense.
Wow, just by the hand of Ethan Pollock, big Ethan Pollock, straight from Johnny Bravo.
And the NextGen bus gets trapped on the sideline.
Trey LeMasters with the disc now, a 5th year at Texas, 2nd year on Doublewide.
And this is Dylan forcing Schaefer up line. You can see how nasty his defense. It's going to be a tough job for Schaefer to get open all day if we're going to have Dylan on him.
With the retirement of longtime offensive player David Melanson, Salad, Doublewide's relying a lot on Schaefer and LeMasters, young players, to really come in and take that handler role.
You see Vert stack here from Doublewide. Richardson. Thomas. That's LeMasters. A lot of handler movement in the backfield. You can see Doublewide just relying on their dumps because they don't have that downfield cutter chemistry. Nobody cutting at this time as they're trying to reset the disc.
Kevin Christian Falcor with a big rip to Kieran. Just jumps a little early.
That was Camden Allison Hall with the pressure in the end zone, and the wind got a piece of that one. Again, floating just a bit. Falcor hangs it out there, but it hangs just a bit too high. Allison Hall forces Thomas to go up early, and the bus will get another shot at their offense here.
Usually Kieran Vigo Thomas is one you want to hang it up for, but didn't work out that time.
And that might look like a drop by Trent Dillon, but the wind, you could see just at the last second, push that disc down right as he was about to catch it, causing another drop by the bus. Sloppy so far here. This is Schaefer. Moves it up to Losgorn. Losgorn looking for Schaefer. Breaks to Schaefer for the goal on the sideline. 3-1 Doublewide. Schaefer beats Dillon up the line, but give the credit to Losgorn, the lefty, with that around break. That's a tough mark. Going to have to make adjustments as soon as possible. Doublewide has come out and thrown 2 lefty around forehands to that near sideline. Nice grab by Schaefer there to keep his feet in. But really, it's been the miscue so far of NextGen not being able to capitalize on these turnovers so far by Doublewide.
Neither offense is impressing. You see Doublewide just grits it out with a couple handlers, though.
It's been all handler offense for both teams. And that one you could see, in that possession you could see Doublewide, no cuts happening at all downfield as they're trying to dump the disc. A lot of times what you're looking for when that's happening is if you can get a dump or reset to the break side and throw a quick break after you reset the disc. That'll sort of get some flow going, but it's obvious that Doublewide hasn't been able to find their cutting rhythm so far today.
Right, it's just natural instinct of the handlers overcoming the lack of chemistry from the cutting.
Nice downfield defense there on Mickle, forcing that set play to get dumped to the handler, and Mickle going deep for Driscoll.
Huge
disc
shot.
Dropping, but Driscoll reels it in. 3-2 Doublewide, and there's that high-powered offense. And of course, it's 2 veterans to the NextGen Tour. Mickle looking deep for Driscoll, showing off for his hometown crowd.
Makes up for that last drop with an incredible catch.
And that is a tough read. It looks like, from the booth, it looks like he's just trying to figure out the read, chasing it down, but that disc was bouncing up and down as it was nearing the ground. Nice job by Driscoll. Nice concentration.
What do you think of watching the offense on the pole and zooming out?
There we're taking a look at the Kiwi. That's Aaron Neal.
Right alongside Jay Clark of Georgia Tech.
What do you think about watching the offense
And Scion from...
Mitch Sion's going to be an interesting player to watch here from the NextGen Tour. I think he's someone who slipped in the public eye a bit under the radar, but you know, after watching him a bit in that revolver game, he's going to fit right in here. Another defensive specialist. Nice high floaty pull. This is going to be Max Cook looking to center. And again, no cuts anywhere downfield from Doublewide. And a dump turnover. Freechild picking it up, gets it to Montague. Montague looking to distribute, floats over the top to Freechild. Bit of tunnel vision there. He's just trying to punch in the goal with ball scoring. Thomas downfield. Schaefer. And Schaefer turfs one. As Montague settles the offense. He's got Dylan on a free swing. Dylan with the throw and go. Swings to Freechild. Montague. Freechild. No cutters. Freechild got Dylan isolated on the break side. Air bounce backhand to Dylan. Back to Freechild. Nice break from Freechild to Neal from Simon Montague. All day handler offense for the bus. That's Freechild, Montague making things happen. And the Kiwi outfitted in our friction gloves. Custom NextGen edition, reels in the goal. 3-2 Doublewide.
Yeah, hopefully this opportunity will help the Doublewide offense out. Maybe they'll get a little chemistry, get some nice long cuts, and really see if they can get things moving.
Yeah, before they can get chemistry, they just need to get people cutting. I mean, you can't create something from nothing. You got to just start cutting so people can start feeling it out. Can't rely on your handler offense for the entire game, but if that's the plan and it works, stick with it. So far, we haven't seen either team really be able to generate much. This center to Schaefer. Vert stack for Doublewide.
No mark on Schaefer yet, and Clark finally moves over.
Cook. To Erickson. Driscoll open underneath, but Jannon goes over the top.
See if he can stop the break.
Jay
Doesn't
Clark
stop the
looking
break.
deep to Mickle. Overthrows it just a bit, and we've got a long point developing. You can see Mickle, hands on his knees. If you look downfield, you're going to see Kieran Thomas, hands on his knees. Lots of players tired on this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see either team call a timeout, get a water break. Just reset and refocus here. So Doublewide calls their first timeout. We're knotted up at 3 here in the first half. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. This is stop number 2 on the NextGen Tour. 3-3. We'll be back in just a second.
Kieran Thomas.
Nice header D there by Camden Ellison Hall. Lost scoring trying to find Thomas, and you can see how windy it is out there. Thomas with no chance for a catch in bounds.
At least it was a quality cut for the double wide offense. It's good to see at least an isolated deep cut. Didn't work out that time, but it's something to work for.
Mickle looking to pick up. Got Driscoll isolated underneath. Driscoll. He's got Camden running deep. That's Allison Hall in the end zone. And that's ruled a goal by the observer. 4-3 NextGen. And that might be the kind of game that we're going to have here today. The team that can pick up the trash and not have as many unforced floaty hooks out of bounds might be the team that comes away with a win. It's not going to be pretty, but it might be a W in the column at the end of the day. That was Driscoll finding Allison Hall for the goal. 4-3 NextGen.
You saw Driscoll really understanding the win and understanding his ability to throw that flick. Really compensating to allow it to fall from inside out to outside in, hitting one of the great runners on this NextGen team, Allison Hall, right in stride.
And upwind hooks truly are an art. When you're throwing upwind, it's really important if you're throwing that forehand to put a lot of hard I.O. on the disc. Not necessarily, you don't necessarily want an I.O. shape of the throw, but the wind, when it's pushing against you, is going to want to flatten that disc out and then turn it back over. So you've got to start it out hard I.O., and hopefully it's going to end up flat and then come back outside in just like that one did for Allison Hall. Great fundamentals you might not pick up on there by Driscoll. And this is Freechild with the pull. And this one's going to drift out the back of the end zone as you see Dylan charging hard for the NextGen defense.
And it looks like Doublewide's changing it up and putting in a all D-line, O-line.
Yeah, at this point, sometimes when you get these long points, it stops being about D-line, O-line. It's either who has the legs, or you might start going upwind, downwind if it gets too severe out there.
It'll be exciting to see some of these young athletes then from the new Doublewide D-line.
Nice coverage all over the field. Resets to K-Rich.
It's Ryan Bigley.
Nice face guarding defense there by Dylan. Forces a dump to go backfield, and now the tour is off and running. This is Hahn looking for Montague. Hahn flips it up over the top, and Sion with the goal. Nice flippy backhand there from Simon Montague, and NextGen gets their third consecutive break in a row. We're going to see a nice elevator backhand here from Montague. Nice job there by Mitch Sion to reel it in. But again, the NextGen defense steps up. You like to think of the defensive progression of how the choices get made by a handler and how they get taken away by the NextGen defense. It started with the downfield defense. Double wide looking downfield, they had nothing. Then you've got Dylan playing tight duff defense, and you get a dump for 10 yards back. Then you get a miscue on the throw, and all of a sudden you're right outside the end zone. And when you've got players like Montague, Freechild, Sion, they're going to distribute that goal. They're just going to play catch with each other until they end up in the goal.
I think it's really interesting to see Simon Montague back on this tour, because the first year he led the whole team in touches overall by far. And so it's interesting to see him back and have him on the D-line, really carrying the load for the defensive handlers.
Now we've got a side stack. This is K-Rich isolating Kieran Thomas. Nice job by Hahn to take it away, forcing a deep look, and Montague is there to make the play. Nice job knowing where the play is going to go. When you see that side stack, you know the play is coming out into that open side. NextGen flooded two poaches out into the lane. Nobody available, forces a tough deep throw by K-Rich. Montague makes the play, but give credit to the NextGen defense for initially stopping those cuts.
Yeah, brilliant poach by Aaron Hahn. Really blew up those cuts.
Eli Kearns looking to dump to Montague. Big backhand fake huck. Finds Hahn. To the Kiwi. Kiwi looking deep.
Beautiful upwind throw, probably the best one we've seen all day.
Dylan looks to throw a backhand to Will Driscoll, and the fourth break in a row. Driscoll winds it up and lets it go. 6-3 NextGen as Doublewide putting themselves in a hole here in the first half. Great throw there by Aaron Neal.
I hadn't seen Aaron Neal make a tough throw yet, and he showed that he earned his spot on the tour right there. That was a beautiful throw.
I tell you what, Austin coming in here with home field advantage, but they're the ones walking slow back to their line right now.
And now we have a mixed O and D line, O-line for Doublewide. Number 23, Andrew Walsh, the hero of the finals against Revolver this past year. And a couple of other defensive players, including Dan Emmons and Mike Kramer.
Got to think for Doublewide at this point, they had some ideas about who might be O-line, D-line, but in a game like this, windy conditions, long points, they're just trying to put people out there who can score a goal at this point. Kocher on the mark. Back to K-Rich.
That's Mike Kramer cut a little too far for Pollock.
K-Rich break backhand around to Cook. Janin takes away the around, forces the IO forehand. Nice shot, man, to the open side. And once again, Doublewide, nothing going downfield, but fortunate for them. A turnover in the backfield by NextGen leads to a short field. Losgorn and Thomas dinking and dunking around in the backfield, and Mathis gets on the stat sheet.
You don't want to put the owner of the NextGen tour on top?
So we've seen vert stack from both teams so far, relying heavily on their reset offense. So far, NextGen has done a better job of taking that pie cut that goes behind the handler and then are able to find backhand breaks off of that. So far, Doublewide's offense has had most of their resets come on the open side, which means the disc is going backwards and you're still looking at the same field. They haven't done as much switching the field as NextGen has. But neither team has yet to find their downfield offensive rhythm yet. K-Rich with the pull.
This is about the most athletic line this Doublewide team can put out right now. So let's see what they can do on defense.
Mickle finds it underneath. Janin with the continuation.
Wow, great bid by Dalton Smith. And Janin apparently makes an even more impressive catch.
And Janin makes the throw up the line, but I think this one's going to come back. Observer making a call.
I
Looks
believe
like
that was
possession back here to Janin.
There was definitely confusion stemming from that catch, though.
Nice cut there by Kocher. Kocher looking to reset. Throws to Mickle. Mickle looking to the front of the stack. Throws to no one. Turnover for NextGen, and Doublewide's off and running. K-Rich sees one, floats it out there to the backhand side. And I think that's a risk worth taking. You've got one of your best, most experienced players,
throwing
Kevin
to
Richardson. Taking a shot to anyone deep with space is the right play there. Didn't complete it, but it's the right look.
Looking for the new player, Speedy Mike Kramer, a very fast player who you want to take a shot to.
Neither team having much success resetting the disc, especially trying to get it off the line. You're seeing that rotated trap mark. Again here on the line. Kocher looking to throw to the far side with an outside in forehand. That's a tough throw across the field. I like how aggressive he is. But again, this is resulting from both teams' inability to reset the disc with ease moving downfield. NextGen's been able to reset the disc going upfield a few times, but haven't been able to get it off the line. And here we see another turnover from Doublewide. Looks like Mickle's going to take control here with Kearns in the backfield. Kearns fakes upfield, catches backfield. Nice swing to Kocher. Mickle up the line for the goal. Textbook end zone offense. Nice dump swing for the goal, and Mickle rewarded for initially swinging the disc. Catches the goal here. And the bus takes half. 8-4. NextGen trying to get their first win tour here in 2013. Doublewide. We'll be back in the second half after a few minutes. Welcome back to our second half coverage of the NextGen Tour 2013. NextGen leading 8-4 against Austin's Doublewide. Story of the first half was turnovers, turnovers, and more turnovers. NextGen had 4 less turnovers than Doublewide. They're up 8-4. But let's not discount the defensive pressure that both teams have been putting on here. And so far, I think it's just been NextGen that has come out on the good end of a couple more deep looks.
Defensively, I think this is the best team that NextGen has fielded yet. So the defensive pressure does not surprise me one bit.
There you see Jacob Jannon next to Camden Allison Hall. Jannon, one of the most effective players for the defensive line last year for NextGen. Another interesting stat about Jacob Jannon: did not have a turnover until game number 8 of the tour last year. As NextGen sets up in a side stack.
It's like isolating Jimmy Mickle with Kevin Richardson on him. Great matchup there. 2 of the best receivers in the nation.
This is Montague telling his dump to get back on the open side. And a nice block there from Richardson. Montague not able to put it out to space, to that break space. And Richardson able to generate a block here early in the second half. Orloff picking up the disc to Richardson. Richardson looking to Orloff. And that's that tough forehand outside in pass. The wind is going to push that one down if you're not careful. Got to keep that one flat. If you're going to try to bend the disc in the air, you got to be really careful with this wind. Montague dumps to Kearns. Camden Allison Hall finds Freechild. Nice bid there.
Michael Mathis, great try.
Freechild looking to break. Looks back to the open side, sitting on his backhand. You're a rookie playing against Dylan Freechild. It's like being in a classroom. You're going to get a lot of lessons taught to you.
Sure, and like I said, Michael Mathis came from a small school called TCU that struggled to put even sectionals teams out. So he didn't get the opportunity to play big schools like some Texas or Oregons.
So the bus up 9-4. Clark with the pull. Losgorn. Centers, vert stack, double wide, nobody cutting downfield. We see a flood. Back to K-Rich. Max Cook looking deep for Pollock. And Driscoll tries to make the play, but Pollock gets big. The 6'5" monster comes down with this one despite Driscoll's best effort. And you're going to see Pollock just get up before Driscoll is able to make the play. That's going to be a nice addition to the double wide offense if Pollock can find some chemistry with the rest of the double wide O-line.
Johnny Bravo used Pollock so effectively last year as just a wing option, just such a giant target to hit anytime their offense got slow. So it'll be interesting to see how double wide uses him.
And that's the thing about someone as tall as Pollock is I like to just think of him as a field changer. When he's out there, you know you've got an option, whether it's bailing yourself out with the deep huck or if he's around the dump, you can just toss it up high and he can take care of a play for you. And defensively, if he's out there, you're not going to put anything up in the air in his area. Here's Freechild. Decides not to center the disc. Now takes a dump for a loss of 10 yards. Stack a bit too deep here for the bus. Kocher comes underneath, now dissing to Janin, and Janin looking to strike to Freechild. Freechild has steps, and Janin to Freechild. As Freechild throws one through the uprights. Beautiful throw here from Janin.
Probably the best touch we've seen downfield yet of the day. Just perfect. No chance for Denicourt to catch up.
And Janin and Freechild exchanging stats on this one. Last time it was Freechild to Janin. This time Janin to Freechild. +2 for both in the stat column.
Freechild showing he can go in, he can handle the disc, or he can go deep. It's poison either way.
So the bus here, up 10-5 as we take a look at Mickle waiting to pull. Jay Clark out there with him. Recently graduated from Georgia Tech as Mickle floats one in. Centering to Loscorn. And here we see Pollock. Back to Schaefer. Schaefer breaks around to Thomas. Nice grab by Thomas.
Doublewide hoping for great things out of Jason Schaefer's breaking ability.
Schaefer looks deep on this one. Can't find his receiver.
Just out of Loscorn's reach, or just not able to tow it in, really.
You mentioned Jason Schaefer. Hasn't played a ton of high-level elite club. Played for Rhino back in 2008. Really big shoes to fill here for the double-wide offense. Here's Trent Dillon underneath for the bus. Swinging to Kearns. Nice break around to Driscoll. And that's something that we've seen the All-Stars able to do so far in this game better than double-wide, is swing the disc and break up the other side of the field.
With this win today, this near side of the field is definitely the power position, and NextGen has spent more time on it, really helping their into the win offense.
Driscoll looking deep there for Mickle. Just a tough throw, tough angle to hit going upwind. Now we're going to see Schaefer pick the disc up again. And some more sloppy play here from double-wide. Getting a little lazy on the catch. Driscoll waiting for the disc to be tapped in. He's got the break side wide open. He's going to look to throw that backhand break.
A way to tow it in. That was impressive by Jay Clark.
And Jay Clark scores on the backhand around from Driscoll. Driscoll redeems himself. Got to have a short memory if you're going to play here in these high-stakes games. Even though you missed on your last chance, you've got to throw the throw when it's there. And Driscoll finds Clark in the end zone. Another break for the bus. 11-5 now. Tough point there for Schaefer. Had a turnover out of bounds, and then
while the downfield cutting might leave a little bit to be desired from the NextGen offense, I think the natural breaking ability of all these players is just shows promising things for when their downfield offense gets moving. It's going to be trouble for whoever's trying to play them.
And that's really one of those high-level skills that I think that rookies just don't have. If you might bring a player onto this double-wide team, and they're not going to be able to break the mark at a high level like all these NextGen players are. These are all the best players, not only on their teams, but in their region of the country, meaning they've had a lot of time with the disc in their hands, and they've had to make a lot of things happen. The ability to break the mark has been central here for NextGen, as we see Thomas take a look downfield, throws up a prayer, but Montague knocks it out of the air and swings to Hahn.
Kevin Richardson, great heads up D, poach the lane. Ryan Bigley with the disc out of Kansas.
Another lefty for double wide. Finds Thomas.
Scuba dump.
Inside out. Nice cut up the line there by Montague. Looks to go hammer over the top. That's going to be a tough one in the wind.
This wind is perfect for discouraging that throw. It was the first time I'd seen anyone throw it all day. I was kind of waiting for it, see what would happen.
But again, NextGen able to find some success, stringing together a couple upfield cuts. And a nice defensive play here by Tim Morrissey. A bit of a backpack here. And no foul is the call. Nice play by Tim Morrissey getting in the stat sheet here. Tim Morrissey added late out of Colorado. Montague picks up the disc. Inside out to Freechild. Not enough friction on those gloves to maintain possession. And here we go, Law scoring up top to Richardson. And Montague from behind makes a huge play in the air. And I think Richardson might be calling a foul on this one, or he's just disappointed himself. This is a great play by Montague. He doesn't have position, reaches in at the last second.
Kevin Richardson rarely beat in the air, and Montague just showed his ability and his length to get around it. One of the best receivers in Ultimate.
And Freechild caught a case of the dropsies here early in the second half. Nice break there from another lefty double wide receiver, but not able to reel this one in.
Somehow throws it over Ethan Pollock.
Kocher on the sideline, finds Hahn. Hahn sees Montague. Richardson giving chase.
He was so open, Hahn had to throw it, but this wind, it's not that easy. You need that touch that Janet displayed earlier. It's pretty tough to do.
In this type of wind, it's really hard to keep the disc flat, and in order to put it out in front of the receiver, that's what you need to do, and this wind is making it near impossible for either one of these teams to throw easy completed hucks. And we see another first throw turnover from double wide. Montague calls timeout for the bus in what's been a sloppy couple of points for both teams. NextGen up 11-5 on stop number 2 of the tour here. Stop number 3 will be in Atlanta in a couple days. NextGen Tour are going to go through Baton Rouge tomorrow, put on a clinic. We'll be putting on another clinic in Atlanta before they move on and play Chain Lightning, and then they're going to move up the East Coast, going through Raleigh, up to the Northeast, Boston, New York, and then back through the Midwest.
Luckily for NextGen, most of these stops should be decreasing in temperature. I believe all the rest of the games are night games.
Decreasing in temperature, but probably increasing in humidity as you get over there on the East Coast.
Good point.
And the Northeast, but you're right. This is the only day game of the tour. The rest of the games will be starting at 7 p.m.
I look for Freechild to just completely dominate the rest of this point. He's probably mad at himself for a couple unforced errors, and we all know he can't be stopped when he really gets moving.
Montague picking up, looking downfield. Got Kocher at the front of the stack. Disc tapped in. Freechild blasts up line. Kocher to Erickson. Here they are on that trap sideline. See if they can work it off. Nice around to Montague. Freechild. Freechild throws and goes, and another turnover from Freechild. Threw a bit without looking, and now we're going to get another put to the end zone. Montague has to give up. He is winted, and K-Rich.
LeMasters gives K-Rich a chance to make up for it.
So 11-6. Tough point there from both teams. NextGen on the doorstep. Freechild turns it over for the third time in the same point, and Doublewide comes away with a goal. And you can see the fatigue on the face of Montague as he walks off. See the bus recharging there near the bench.
Steven Darrow at the pull. One of Doublewide's last chances to gain some momentum, see if they can make this a competitive game.
Sion breaks around to Mickle.
Called inbounds.
Jannon. Kearns. Mickle finding space up the line, lets it float up for an extra 5 yards and blasts deep to Driscoll. Driscoll timing his cut, goes up and makes the play with contact. Will Driscoll with another goal and another head spike.
Great catch by Driscoll over Dan Emmons. You
And
see,
this one starts with the dump swing abilities of NextGen. They swing to one side. Mickle beats his man up the line. And just like they were practicing before the game with their dishy huck drill, going up the line, Driscoll times it perfectly for someone he already knows. He knows the throwing ability of Mickle, and a dime from Mickle to put it out in front of Driscoll.
Mike Kramer, coming from Houston, Space City, had never really been asked to guard a handler before. So when you have him out there against a big handler like Jimmy Mickle, it's asking a lot of a rookie on this team.
And that's the thing about this NextGen team is most of these guys have had to play handler for their college team. They've all got the disc skills, and someone like Mickle, he's had to do everything for that Colorado team. Although he might be most potent downfield going up in the air, certainly no slouch behind the disc. So 12-6. Clark with the pull.
Jake Clark showing one more reason why he's a great defensive player. The great pull.
Schaefer's going to get another chance here, isolating Thomas in the stack. Looks him off. Now looking to reset.
See if Loscorn can make something happen out of nothing. And he does.
Jeff Loscorn goes up and gets nasty, bailing out Jason Schaefer. Looks like there might have been a call on the play, but Loscorn gets nasty on this one.
He's been doing a lot of box jumps at Clockwork Body here in Austin.
Loscorn looking to reset. Finds Cook. Cook throws and goes. Loscorn inside out, lefty backhand.
Good little grab by LeMasters there.
Finds LeMasters at the top of the stack, and that's what's so dangerous about left-handed players is normally when you're forcing forehand, that's an IO forehand that you're defending, but for these lefties, it's that easy IO backhand. Really easy reset for a left-handed player. Cook squirreling around, finds a reset. Back to Loscorn. Loscorn and Cook again. Loscorn throwing and going. Cook up the line. Loscorn looking to distribute again. Finds LeMasters. All handlers here. And a bunched up offense downfield. Nice around break. Finds Loscorn again. Loscorn, air bounce backhand. And LeMasters can't reel this one in.
Nice bid by Loscorn. Just missed it.
Jake Clark with the fumble on his own 5-yard line. Gonna give
this wind really bouncing.
Doublewide another shot at this goal.
Wow, beastly D. Aaron Neal.
Aaron Neal with the fingertip D. The backhand turnover.
Jeff Loscorn to pick up.
This is a tough stop here. Loscorn with Kieran Thomas isolated. Nice D by Trent Dillon. Completely shuts down Kieran Thomas.
I think you saw there intimidation of the wind to make that hard swing.
And Camden Allison Hall reels this one in. Looks off an open Aaron Hahn. And Aaron Neal is going to get the goal here. But you get one warning offsides call. And offsides, the receiving team takes the disc at midfield, and that is just what NextGen needed. Some free yards. And Montague, Mickle take control to finally punch it in to Janin.
Going into the win with the lack of downfield chemistry, NextGen is showing that just couldn't have come at a better time for their offense because they never even had to look downfield. They only had to keep it within their handlers.
So here we are. NextGen will have their first game point of the night. The D-line will get it. This will be Freechild with the pull, standing next to Dillon. And we've got that original double wide O-line out there. Loscorn in the middle. Richardson. Richardson looking to reset. Finds Cook. Cook bombs one deep.
Looking for big Ethan Pollock.
Pollock looking for a reset, looking for Schaefer. Schaefer to Pollock. Pollock flip backhand for the goal. That's Thomas on the receiving end 14-11. Another flawless point for Doublewide. And if you're a Doublewide supporter, you're thinking, I hope it's not a little, too late, as the NextGen offense will get their first shot to try to close this one out on offense.
You're also thinking, don't be offsides again. That was the first time I'd seen in about 2 years Doublewide on an offensive set run a hoe stack. They've been exclusively vertical stack, thanks to a lot to do with Kurt and Brody's presence. Their preference for the vertical stack coming from Florida.
Well, and also the vert stack is just really good if you've got great individual stars, because it isolates so much space for those stars, whether you're a thrower, whether you're a receiver. That's what vert stack does. In this case, you know, it wasn't a great set play, but a couple break throws and a nice bomb from Max Cook later. You've got yourself isolated with Pollock deep, and they're able to punch one in. We'll see if NextGen can find one of their first flawless points of the day to take this one home. Free Child.
Wow.
Drops it another.
I have a feeling Free Child's not going to speak highly of the Heat here.
We see a backhand mark, but the lefty backhand breaks around that mark. And here we go, 14-12.
Ryan Bigley, great break.
And those long lefties have such a huge advantage against any mark. NextGen makes their way back to the line. This will be their second O-line attempt to close out the game. Montague's been doing a lot of the work for the bus today. In a game like this, a windy day, you've got to accept that you're going to have turnovers. And Montague's done a great job forgetting about those turnovers when he has them and making the throws that need to be thrown. Here we see him. Nice job clogging the lanes, and then we're just going to put it up deep here to Mickle. 3 double wide defenders underneath.
Great jump by Dan Emmons.
And the bus seems to have stalled here late in the game as we see Doublewide going deep again. This one's floating, and another goal for Doublewide, 14-13.
Beautiful flick by Daniel Poindexter to Dan Emmons, who gets the double happiness.
And Doublewide down by 6 for most of this half. It was 12-6 when this run started. A number of breaks in a row. Orloff was in the middle of that. Pollock has reeled in some goals. Some nice defensive play, some uncharacteristic turnovers from NextGen, and defensive plays like the ones we're about to see now have led to this string of breaks to put Doublewide back in contention for this game. And I tell you what, Bjorn, I didn't see this one coming. At 12-6, it didn't look good for Doublewide.
Rory Orloff and Jeff Loscorn really just set the tone of quitting making mistakes, and then new players like Emmons and Kramer just made a few plays here and there. It was enough.
They're not out of it yet. NextGen with another chance to close out. This is Trent Dillon with the disc. Trent Dillon, the backhand to the open side. And a round break, back to Dillon. This is Hahn. Hahn finds Driscoll with space. Driscoll
with a
sees
big
Dillon on the backside. Another turnover. Doublewide will have a chance to tie the game here at 14s. Here's that vert stack from Doublewide. Flings one deep. Kramer chasing.
That wind just not allowing that to hang.
But it's a good shot with the NextGen offense sputtering at this point. You gotta like that shot, especially with the athleticism of Kramer. Kearns picking up for the bus. And Dillon takes the around dump to Aaron Neal. Back to Dillon. A wide open Jay Clark. Still nothing going on downfield for the bus.
Wow, great catch.
Kearns makes the catch in traffic. Orloff marking. Clark. Nice scuba to space to Neal. Neal looks off Dillon deep. Still nothing going on downfield. And Neal turfs a backhand to give Doublewide another chance. Orloff picking up the disc. Thomas, lots of space underneath, but he's picked up by Dillon. Orloff.
Andrew Walsh all alone downfield, no one sees him.
Kramer looking to reset. Nice backhand to space. Orloff with the touch, forehand to space. Wow. That's an incredible throw at the right moment from Orloff, the veteran, taking control. And this is a very difficult throw. You've got Driscoll in the area, a touch forehand, blade over the top. Orloff.
With the wind today, every single person who's tried a throw from that side of the field at that angle has overthrown it, popped it up. It's gone awry. That was the first time we see somebody make a great throw in that position.
And NextGen out of timeouts. Looks like NextGen is going to take their final timeout. So the story of this second half has been, first of all, Orloff taking control for Doublewide. Some plays being made by some young faces. That's Kramer, who went up earlier in this half during that string of breaks over both Driscoll and Hahn. And some very uncharacteristic turnovers here in the second half by the bus have allowed Doublewide to creep back in it.
Yeah, Freechild's having a bit of a rough game. As one of the best players in the world, he expects more out of himself.
There we see Orloff, right side of your screen. Mainstay of this Doublewide team, as it will seem to be as this year progresses.
And like you said, Orloff's playing well enough, they probably can't get him off the field.
And at this point, 14-14, no matter how tired you are, a tired Orloff is going to be better than one of those rookies right now. Montague out of a side stack. Mickle isolated. Mickle chops and comes under for the 15-yard under. Swings to Montague. Montague to Allison Hall. Allison Hall looking for Montague. And a block on the mark.
That's Dan Emmons with a great block.
Dan Emmons blocks Camden Allison Hall's around backhand, and Doublewide will have a chance to take their first lead since 3-2 in the first half. Orloff picking up.
You got to respect Camden Allison Hall. It's an easy call to make, too. A lot of people will just automatically make that call. Allison Hall living up to it.
And Doublewide missing an opportunity. Dalton Smith turning over the forehand on the open side. Montague with the disc. Looks off Mickle underneath. And this is the second time in a row that Doublewide has forced the open side handler upfield, forced a tough throw, and you're gonna see the defender here do a great job of forcing him upfield. Montague tries that elevator backhand, and there's just no space for that, especially in the wind. Another turnover for the bus. Orloff over the top. Nice throw to space. Observer calling him in.
He's close to the
Looks
line.
like he stepped on the line, but we're going to see.
Wow.
And Montague, Morrissey comes up huge for a catch block, and now we're going deep to Freechild. Freechild outruns the defender and catches it from Mickle. 15-14, NextGen.
What a change of a momentum there on that point. Incredible catch D on the dump.
And we're going to see the catch block here from Morrissey in such tight quarters to get a catch block. That's an incredibly difficult play. Dishes to his teammate from Colorado, and Freechild runs this one down. 15-14, NextGen.
No way Freechild was going to drop that one. Such a beautiful throw, such a well-timed cut. A lot of frustration built up in that little spike.
And this game is just coming down to who can make the plays or who can't make the plays. It's been a series of blocks and drops that have led to this yo-yo game here. Doublewide down 6 for most of the second half, reels off 7 breaks in a row to tie the game. And it's Tim Morrissey coming up with the catch block that could lead to NextGen's victory. Loscorn looking to reset. Max Cook. Loscorn again. Looking downfield, not seeing much. He's got Kieran Thomas isolated. Finds him. Thomas to Cook. Cook with a nice around backhand. It's going to float. Lucky play there from Doublewide, and they get the goal for 15-15.
Kieran making a great decision not to jump there and just running down the errant throw.
Trent Dillon in the right position here, but Kieran Thomas reads it well. And here we are, 15-15. And the bus trying to hold on. And this is what is so beautiful about the rules under USA Ultimate. You have to score goals to win. You can't let the clock run out, which is something that's changing here in the Ultimate world with these new pro leagues coming around. I can't imagine that a team would allow a 6-point comeback in the fourth quarter of one of those games. But here, you got to score to win, and that's what's allowed Doublewide to come back. So the cap is on now, 15-15. It'll be a game to 17. Here's Montague.
These great fans who have braved this rough heat, at least they got a good show out of this.
Interesting adjustment that Doublewide defense has done. They've been poaching handlers in the lane. There we see Orloff getting out of the lane and allowing that throw. This is Kearns. Kearns dumps to Montague. Montague decides not to swing it. Instead loses more yards to Mickle. Mickle to Janin. Spread downfield. Nice box out there by Mickle.
Doublewide's really trying this Mike Kramer on Jimmy Mickle matchup. Seems like that's something they want to work with. But
And NextGen is going to take a timeout here. Looks like they had a floater left from the first half. And Mickle brings it in. Mickle along with Morrissey, Neal, Kearns, and Janin. And here we see NextGen in the same situation that Doublewide was in the first half. They're just trying to put guys out there that can score a goal. It's not about who's more experienced. We saw Doublewide experimenting with it in the first half. It's not about O-line. It's not about D-line. It's just finding some guys that could score a goal. Interesting here that we see only a couple of returners for the NextGen All-Stars out there. That's Mickle with the disc. But a lot of new faces here in this big moment. Mickle squares up to his dump. That's Kearns. Nice upline throw by Mickle. Orloff trying to come around the mark. Looks like Kearns going to try to draw a free stall count here. He's got Mickle in the backfield. Kearns looking downfield. Mickle blasts up line.
wow.
And Mickle saves the day. Mickle's going to call a foul, and Mickle bailed out Kearns on that throw.
Great dump defense by Andrew Walsh, Doublewide's premier defender.
Mickle looking over the top. But Scion finds his way to the open side for the goal. We're going to take a look at this goal here. A nice throw here from Mickle as Scion burns to the cone and Mickle hits him. We're in the pressure cooker. Who's going to come out on top? 16-15 NextGen. And once again, we're going to see the double-wide O-line. Interesting to see who we'll have. The O-line hasn't been on the field a lot, though they did own up last point. Looks like it'll be Schaefer, Thomas, Cook, K-Rich, Christian, and Pollock for double wide. At this point, you've got to make those key adjustments. You got to know that it's going to be Kieran Thomas probably isolated out of the stack first. They've been doing it all game long. Spread stack here.
Oh,
and
wow.
a miscommunication. Kocher with the disc. Freechild. Freechild with the gloves back on. Driscoll on the doorstep. Driscoll swings to Freechild.
Freechild really wanted to work that give and go that he's just devastating at.
And the bus losing another 5 yards. Swings to Allison Hall. There's the throw and go. Hugging on the mark there from Schaefer. Freechild tries to burn up line. The around to Driscoll. Driscoll trying to break. That's a tough mark to break on Pollock. And another loss of yards. The bus losing yards all the way down the field. And now Schaefer's going to put it up deep to Pollock. But just out of reach for the big man transfer from Colorado.
Another throw, falls victim to the wind. Pollock all alone. The throw had to be made.
Trent Dillon picks up the disc, now working with Freechild. I like Trent Dillon in the backfield. Freechild again looking to throw and go. Inside out break to Hall. The bus hasn't been able to get off any dumps going behind the disc like they were in the first half. All the dumps, like that one, going behind the disc, have been going backwards. And Freechild, a miscommunication with Allison Hall, is going to give Doublewide a chance on the goal line. Vert stack. The elevator over the top. And Pollock makes another huge bid. That big, fragile body hits the ground hard, and he's going to take a sub.
I can honestly say I've never seen Jeff Loscorn throw that throw, and I don't think I'll see it again.
Especially here, as the winds have picked up tremendously late in the game. This is the downwind side here that the Doublewide has been shooting for. NextGen going upwind. And Mickle's gonna pick up the disc. Mickle with Kocher isolated deep. And another forced turnover. These look like just bad throws, but it is really windy down there on the field right now. Here's Loscorn. Loscorn with the flip forehand, but Freechild matches him on this one. Freechild gonna pick the disc up. And that's the type of throw that Mickle just faked, that throw needs to get off. He had Dylan on the break side. Got to get those positive yards because the bus has just been dumping and dumping and dumping for 3-yard losses at a time.
And NextGen showed early in the game when they get to this high side of the field, their offense is much more powerful.
There's that around break. Again, looking in the backfield. No options. Allison Hall. Nice break there to Jimmy Mickle. Now a little bit of action downfield. Allison Hall around to Mickle. And that's the throw that Mickle's pumping right now.
Trent Dillon streaking deep.
Allison Hall with a nice cut up the line. Gains yards for NextGen for the first time this point. And another dump for a loss and a reset for no gain. No cuts downfield. Driscoll reels one in. NextGen on the doorstep. Freechild throwing and going. Beats his man up line. And Freechild throws the goal, and everyone puts their hands on their knees. The entire field of players exhausted at this point. But the bus is trapped on the line here in a high stall count situation. Freechild with the disc, Cook on the mark. Erickson lining up for the reset. Erickson goes up line. Freechild with the IO break to Driscoll, creating space. Driscoll throws and goes. And Freechild throws the goal for a win. NextGen's first win of the tour. 17-15 NextGen, and Dylan Freechild runs the show at the most critical moment. And Will Driscoll, in front of his hometown crowd, takes it for NextGen.
Dylan Freechild showed that despite his mistakes, most dominant player on the field, and Will Driscoll showed he can't be kept out of the end zone when Dylan is having chemistry with him.
What a game here in Austin. Both teams exhausted. And if I'm someone watching the game, or if I just played in that game, I'm going to Barton Springs after this one to take a nice cool dip. And NextGen's just got to be happy to get out of here with a win. At this point, you just gave up a huge run. Doublewide showed their resiliency. The veterans stepped up. A couple new players. Kramer stepped up and made some plays. Loscorn showed his colors. Rory Orloff with a great game. K-Rich made some plays. But in the end, it was too little too late. NextGen with the final break to win 17-15.